Good afternoon. My name is LaRonda Davis. I am working on the project called Human Trafficking. I have one of my colleagues here with me today. I work for Jefferson County Public School System, and I'm going to be interviewing Jia Chen today. She is from China. I'm going to let Jia Chen kind of explain what she does here at my school, and then we'll go into the questions. So, Jia Chen, tell me, what do you do here at Shelby?
Oh, I'm the instructor for the English Second Language department, ESL. So I have been here. This is my third year to work here. I really like this school. I really like to work for the kids. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're talking about human trafficking today, Ms. Chen. And tell me, how much do you know about human trafficking?
And I came to this country almost 30 years ago from mainland China. So during that time, I don't think we have that issues at that
Okay.
moment because government is really under control with the one government, communist. But now, I mean, in 10 or 20 years recent,
Okay.
that's the issue in China. So
Okay.
I believe it exists in
Yes.
mainland China. I think the problem is going to be bigger and bigger. It's
Yeah.
going to be more serious. Yes.
So you are aware that it does now exist
Yeah,
in your
it
country.
exists, yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what is your perception of this problem? Do you think it's something that can be solved and can be fixed and rectified in your country, or?
I think so. If we work hard, if we're aware how serious it is, how bad is it, it's kind of crime. Yeah, it's a crime.
Okay.
So it's totally illegal.
Yes.
Even the prostitution is illegal in some countries. But
Right.
I believe lots of people doing this kind of business, like the girls, ladies, they don't want to do it.
Right.
It's not the thing they want to do. It's not the way they want to make living.
Okay.
It's not that option.
Right.
They are forced to do it.
Forced to do it. So do you know of people, do you know of some stories or
Yeah.
something that happened?
Yeah, I know.
Am I
I
sure?
just heard I know in China, some people, yeah, they want to be. They saw they want to come to America. They saw this is a better place. You have more
Okay.
chances to have better job. But finally, that's the dream not come true. Yeah,
Right.
It become to a disaster. It's a nightmare.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
they become the prostitute.
Yes.
They have no freedom. Don't talk about happy life. Yeah, don't talk about the better life.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
That's
have life.
right. That's one of the things that
Yeah.
we've been learning about and studying how that's one of the ways that they get people to get into this dream of this better future.
Yeah,
And then
better
they get
future.
trapped in, and then
Yeah.
it's basically fraud and coercion.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we've learned in the class so far. Thank you for sharing that. Now, since you know about it and you are aware, what do you think you could do to help solve this problem as a global citizen? What could you do to help?
I think, especially in China, lots of people that are not knowledgeable
Okay.
about this kind of crime.
Okay.
This is a crime, yeah. So I
Yeah.
think lots of the, especially young girls, they say, oh, if someone offer me to go to America, you can live there, you can have green card, you can have more freedom. So it's not true.
Right.
So finally, they're trapped. Yeah.
So talk to them about, you could basically share
Yeah, the
information like don't
education.
believe that.
Yeah, the people talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So they need more education, need to know it.
Right.
Yeah.
What
Be
age
aware.
range do you know? Do you like what's the youngest person that you may be aware of that's been involved in human trafficking
I think in
situation?
China, I didn't really hear the young girls. I
Okay.
heard like a middle age, like
Okay.
30 years
Okay.
or 40
Okay.
years. So even they have family.
Mm-hmm.
Family in China, they have their spouse, they have
Yes.
children.
Yeah.
They didn't know they come to this country
Yeah.
to make living
Mm-hmm.
by this kind of way. See, this is
And then they get
Yeah.
trapped.
it is a tragedy. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's been a great learning experience to me, and even talking to you, and then just doing the research on this subject. It's a very sensitive subject, and I thank you for sharing with us today. Anything
you're
else you
welcome.
want to share?
Yeah, I think this is global issue. It happened everywhere, every countries, including China.
Yes.
I just hope we work together to stop this crime.
Yes.
Yeah, to save the girls, especially
Yes,
teenager
especially.
girls. Yeah, especially
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All righty.
Okay, what do you know about human trafficking?
Well, what do I know about human trafficking? I saw a documentary on it. I know that it's a problem with people coming over here illegally, and they have to buy their way out of I don't know, they could be working in businesses or maybe even prostitution, things like that. That's about it. I think I've read I read something about the Blue campaign as well. So that's pretty much my the stint of that I have for human trafficking.
Okay. One statistic from the International Labor Organization is that a shocking 20.9 million men, women, and children are trapped in jobs into which they are coerced or deceived and which they cannot leave. It goes on to say that at any given point in time, around 3 out of every 1,000 persons worldwide are suffering in forced labor. And this includes labor as well as sex trafficking. What do you think or feel about that?
I mean, I think it's something that we need to really look into. I mean, it's sort of like modern day slavery. So I'm surprised that the number is that high. I didn't know there was that many. But wow, seems like it's an issue that we have to tackle.
Okay, and what do you think we as citizens should be doing in our cities to create change?
What could we do? I think we have to have stiffer penalties for people who bring the people over for the trafficking. I think that we need to have more advertisements so that people who are actually like trapped into this trafficking, have some numbers that they can call or whatever. I know that I'm pretty sure that that they're being threatened with their families back home, and some of them are just so they want to be here so bad that they are just willing to work a few years, or I mean, they sort of see a light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't think they realize how long that tunnel is. So but I do think that we need to maybe more public service announcements, and just those businesses that we know that happens. I think that we need to send more government officials in to monitor that type of stuff.
Okay.
My name is Kristen Burchett. We're doing a project on human trafficking. I'm here with Nicole Coleman, and we're going to do an interview on human trafficking and what she knows about human trafficking in her community.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I live in North Georgia, and I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, Nicole, thank you for being here with me today. What do you know about human trafficking?
Not hardly anything.
Okay, so what do you think human trafficking is?
The word makes me think of the movie Taken.
Okay, so I think it's actually pretty common that a lot of people don't exactly know what human trafficking is. So I just want to talk to you about it a little bit. Human trafficking is actually a modern day slavery. That's what people call it. Pretty much it's where human beings are being controlled and exploited for profit. The most common forms of human trafficking that are known is sexual exploitation or forced labor. This can take place in hidden arenas or even in plain sight. So it could be happening right next door to you, and a lot of people don't know. So now that you know a little bit about human trafficking, and you said that you think that human trafficking reminds you of Taken, the movie, where would you think human trafficking really exists? Would you think that it exists in the United States?
No,
Okay, so how come?
I just don't hear about anything like that.
Okay, so statistically, human trafficking has been reported in all countries, including the United States. There have been reports of human trafficking in all 50 states of the United States.
Wow.
So, as a resident of North Georgia, you probably don't live too far from Atlanta.
Nope.
An hour from Atlanta. So, did you know that Atlanta is one of the largest cities for human trafficking?
No. I would think it would be more Atlanta though, because you hear of a lot going on, and it's a bigger city.
Mm-hmm. Typically,
We're
it
a small
happens in-
town,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah, so I mean, typically it could happen in a bigger city. It's more opportunity for human sex traffickers or human traffickers in general to make profits, like
Yeah.
do a business.
yeah.
Atlanta, actually, the airport in Atlanta is the #1 airport for trafficking victims. It's the #1 airport for bringing victims from other countries into the United States.
That's crazy.
So also, I also wanted to point out to you that a lot of times victims of human trafficking, most of the time they're deceived into the human trafficking. So a lot of times they plan on coming to the United States, or that's their destination. Most of the time is the United States. Get better opportunities. The United States is one of the biggest destinations for human trafficking.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it.
So, what do you think, now that you know a little bit about human trafficking, what do you think we could do to address this problem?
I don't know.
Do you think it's a problem that, maybe a lot of people don't know about it?
Yeah,
They don't believe
think,
it happens here.
Yeah, I don't think that a lot of people nobody talks about it, or social media or anything like that. I never seen anything about it. But if nobody knows about it, then there's not much that people will do about it.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's the
So,
biggest problem.
Yeah,
of
to
how we
just
can
get it
address
out there and talk about it
Mhm.
and stuff like that,
Okay.
and start from there.
So you think we should start from like broadcasting that there is a
Yeah,
problem,
that-
and
yeah.
letting it be known
Yeah,
that it does happen here.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time,
Thank you.
and I hope you learned a little bit about human trafficking.
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, today I am here with Becky Black, and we are going to discuss human trafficking in relation to Ireland. I'm going to ask her a few different questions and throw out some statistics to get her opinion and ideas on the issue. Hello, Becky. Hi. Thank you for joining me today, and I just wanted to kind of ask you a few questions. Whenever it comes to the terms of prostitution and sex trafficking, do you identify those terms as being similar or completely different? What are your ideas on this?
I think they are very similar in that women, young girls, children are being exploited for their bodies for sexual purposes. Whether it be for men to go look at them in strip clubs, because a lot of the ladies who are involved in that also unfortunately are trafficked out. They're exploited toward men for pleasure, I guess.
Right. Okay. Do you believe that in the scope of human trafficking, that along with sexual labor, that there are other types of trafficking like domestic labor and forcing people to do work against their own will? Do you believe that's something that is occurring in our modern day?
I do. You can see a lot of the clothing industry, for example. They will get these young girls again and place them in, I guess, sweatshops and whatnot to do work for no money or work for their food or for whatever other thing that they may pay them with.
Right. Whenever you're thinking of trafficking, what countries come to mind?
Well, you have your eastern, like like China, I guess your Western countries would be not Eastern countries, would be Western countries. China and Russia over the Europe side, more so than the United States. Of course, I do believe it goes on here as well.
Okay. Particularly for the purpose of this project, we're focusing our area on Ireland because in Ireland, the majority of trafficking that occurs is actually labor trafficking. A lot of people think that it could be sex trafficking because it is a European country and that it's more of a destination for people who are traveling and wanting to go for sexual pleasures and everything. But research shows, though, that a lot of it is people being trafficked from China and from other third world countries and places and being brought to Ireland to work in homes, in restaurants, in places of business, being forced to do those different types of labor and sex trafficking as well. But one of the facts that really astonished me during my research was that 90% of children who are trafficked to Ireland are from China. Like 90% of them. And to see, or for people to be able to see that, such a astounding amount of immigrants, young children, unaccompanied, brought into a country, that to me would kind of naturally raise some awareness, you would think. But in some ways, though, many people are kind of blind to the issue. Do you feel like that's, something that could be easily overseen, or do you feel that they should also be able to kind of recognize that there is an issue in their country?
Well, you would think so, especially being that, Ireland versus, an Oriental child, in their home for other reasons other than adoption or something like that. Of course, you would think there was something different about that whole situation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I thought so too, but just, like I said, for this purpose of this documentary, we're wanting to get everyone's opinions and ideas on the whole issue. So do you feel like human trafficking happening and occurring in other countries is something that we as human beings and as American citizens should be intervening on, or do you feel like that's something that we should be doing something about as a global issue, even though it's occurring in other countries?
I do think we should because, yes, it's happening over there probably more than it does here in America, but it is happening here as well. And, our children could be taken from us and sent over there for the same purposes that these other children from other countries are being, trafficked to other areas of the world to do, menial labor, sexual things with, for what purpose? I think the whole, trafficking issue period is bad. And yes, I do think it should be a global issue, not just, well, it's over there, we don't need to worry about it.
Every country for themselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that there's a point where it's not our place to intervene, though?
And in the kind of situations we're talking about now, I think we should intervene. It's not like on the wars, for example. There are wars that happen in other areas that shouldn't involve us, and we shouldn't get involved with. But America has a tendency to do that. But they don't bother getting involved with the smaller stuff as they see. The human trafficking or prostitution or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, our children are being taken away for purposes for that same reason.
All right, Becky. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and that concludes our documentary.